If you can't hear me, try to re-log back in. But I'm going to create this new document. Now this is going to be in print. This will be landscaped, and we want 8 inches. We want to see this in 8.5 by 11. It'll be landscaped. You're going to need 2 pages. That'll be 4 pages total with a fold. So I'll create this. This is my little booklet. I'm going to close some of these pages up here. I don't need that right away. I'm going to drop some lines in here. I'm going to put a line at 5.5. So to put these guides in, you need to see your ruler. You can press Control R. That'll turn your ruler on and off. Or you can go to View, Show Rulers, or Hide Rulers right here. So you drop and drag these layers out. And this is going to be for my fold. So I'm dropping these on top, giving myself 1/4 of an inch for my what we would call a gutter. So the pertinent information that I have will be within inside these pages. And I am going to, if you fold a sheet of paper in half, you'll note that the beginning page will be on the right-hand side. So here you're going to want to pull out a text box and type out your name. We're going to highlight this, and you're going to call this, use a font. In this case, I'm using Arial Black. I'm going to make this fairly big. And I'll center this. So this will be my opening page. And I'm going to need an artist statement here. So I'm going to pull out a text box. Call this my artist statement. And I'm going to want to choose my font again. Now your group will choose what those fonts will be. If it's just you in the group, you're going to choose your fonts. And you're going to want to write a little commentary about what it is to be a graphic designer and what maybe your goals are. So maybe what it means will be addressed in this artist statement, and your goals of why you want to be a graphic designer, or what you'll use your skills for as in the career. So these are things that you can address in your artist statement. It doesn't have to be too elaborate, but we'll go over that, this whole artist statement. In here too, you might want to put your icon. So I'll just drop a box in here, and here will be a logo. So that logo can be anything, but right now we'll just have it as a statement box or a placement. So that first page can be your artist statement. If you have room, you can go ahead and place a graphic in here. So you could start right off with a graphic on this page. So it could be your picture of yourself, or maybe something that you created in your work. So I have a file here that I started the other day in a Grad 230 class. Oh, you know what? That's a video. Sorry. That won't work. I'll put a file that I created the other day, and I believe it's in 230 now. I just moved all these projects around, but this is my bubble people. So we did this the other day as a group or a class in Grad 230, but this is just an example. So we took these different files and we placed them together. And what I would want to do is have a little description box about this example. So this is my Photoshop example. And in this, I used, this should showcase my use of layers, masks. We did some blending, blurring. We used the crop tool, and so on and so forth. So I would add maybe some of the skill sets that I learned while creating this. In your case, the learning would be what you did, use the burn tool, the dodge tool. And there's something that we also did in this project that we addressed, and that was in Photoshop, you either do the destructive information or the non-destructive, and that is something you do if you use a mask. It's non-destructive. And if you use a eraser tool, it's called a destructive. So somehow I would, write a little blurb about what I did to create this particular project. Okay, so you'd have a little blurb in here, and I just wrote some bullet points because that's what I could address in a written statement. So in this booklet, you've got 3 other pages, and it works out well because we have 3 other, 3 major softwares that we used. So here, I'm going to drop, my last page will be a page that addresses my Photoshop skills. So on my desktop, I created a folder for this project 2. And in here, I place some images or graphics. So I should have a screenshot of Photoshop icon. So this will be my Photoshop page. And I'm going to go to the second set of pages. I'm going to place my guidelines at 5.5. And I'm going to drop these using the ruler up on top to give me a gutter. On this page, I'm going to show my Illustrator skills. And I'll want to fit this in, and then I'll place another icon over here with Illustrator. So I'll go through and fit these. Here I'm going to want to write out that this is my InDesign examples. And I can use this this same box or text, I'll just copy paste it, place it in here. This will be my Illustrator. And then up here will be my Photoshop. So if you were to do this as a group and you wanted all your pieces to maintain a consistency, you would talk to one another to figure out what your fonts are, what your look will look like. So maybe you have a specific type or color that you would want. For InDesign, I have those screenshots that I took of my booklet. So I could incorporate those. And here they are. So on these, it's a good idea to save your booklet. When you save your booklet in a package, there's a button in the save part that will say save as a PDF. You're going to want to make sure that that's selected, and then your pieces will save as a PDF, and then you can go in there and take screenshots, and then of course just size these, fit content like this, and you can kind of write about what you did for this particular booklet. So I would recommend doing screenshots like that, or another way to do it is to view this in the print, remember the print over print, and you want to be in display, or I'm sorry, preview, where you can do screenshots. And then this will give the viewer your capabilities of what you can do. So I like this look because it shows a little bit of methodology on how you can split pages up. So I could add that to my booklet, and that's in here. Pull out another page. And then this gives me plenty of room to still write about what I was doing within this booklet. So I kind of want to leave space for text. So I have a room up here that you can write a little blurb about what you did to create this booklet, as well as down here. Oh, Nick, I'm going to log off and log back in again, because I'm not sure if you're there or if we're on this meeting okay. So I'll go through this process of Skyping in again. So Nick, are you there? Nick? I hope you're there. I'm going through this, our booklet. Well, the booklet that you're going to create for Project 2. Using the directions that were emailed to you. So these would have been emailed to you the other day. So this is Advanced Page Layout Project 2. You're going to create the Group Project Show Exhibit Catalog booklet. And in here, you're going to want to include a collection of a few of your best group portfolio ready projects in a booklet form, a designer statement, and you're going to want to research and discuss on your team's theme using your design skills. So InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator skills should be equally demonstrated. So this group portfolio booklet will be brainstormed. You'll create some thumbnails and kind of explore different methods of creating a booklet. The standards are an 8.5 by 11. This is for the portfolio booklet. It'll be 4 pages, as I've shown to set up. You'll have a logo or symbol to identify you. You're going to insert a few of your major projects. This will be a booklet that people will pick up at your exhibit show and walk away with. So some of these themes were, some students used a theme of a game. So the game of design, and this cover sort of depicted like a game of life. They called it the game of design. One student chose to do pop art as her theme. One student chose it more as a start and finish with a start-finish flag that you might see in a NASCAR event. And one student group project was Design Infinity. They chose a theme throughout their book with design and the affinity symbol. So the best project pieces will be the ones that probably went up to your e-portfolio to show your examples. You're going to do, for grading, a logo, an artist statement is worth 10 points. The booklet layout design is 40. Graphic college project examples are 30 points, and your text and typography will be 20. So in here, these layouts show some different examples of students' work and how they set this up. So these are a continuous look throughout the booklet. So each of these booklets are individual booklets, but it shows the artist statement. So here's an artist statement, and it talks about what he wants to do specifically within his career, what he maybe even learned. Then this is the end of another student's, Teresa Marie, that backed up to Evan Chimino. Her pieces were an exclamation or explanation about her process of how she created these projects, and maybe even some contact information of how to get a hold of her. So in the past, students have met and they've talked about each different design to include for one piece for the booklet. And then posters were also created to market this through online newspapers, Facebook, Twitter, to promote the graphic design show, and then also to be sent to local high school students if they're interested in graphic design. Of course, because of this COVID issue that we're having, it won't be held on campus for week 7.5. So we'll create this more as an e-booklet. So back to the process. For Photoshop examples, you would pop in another Photoshop example, file to place. You can place these in right from Photoshop, or you can place these in right from saving them as a JPEG. So I'm going to do this cat that I did, and this should be in my grad. Oop, I know it's on my no name here. Here's a cat and rider JPEG. So I'm going to want to fit this. This was again created for the GRAD250 class that I teach. It's using multiple images. Here's another one. This is a magic door. So this is used with filters. So what I'm trying to do is give diversity to the viewer so that they can kind of get a little peek at what I can do with my skill set. And we've had students hired for jobs based on these portfolios. They're nice to have. They're a great way to demonstrate your knowledge and technique to a potential career person. So this little booklet really was designed for a group project and for a project held on class. Actually, this is an Illustrator file. So that belongs on this page. So I've got some Illustrator files as well that I'm going to place in here, file to place. And I'm going to have to look for those. I have my desktop. I have this sugar skull that I was working on. I have this in a JPEG. So this is something that I worked on the other day, and it has to do with COVID. And you can go ahead and fit these to what you want them to be. Here I could do a description on this particular one. You know, why you did it, maybe what the techniques were, the technical skills. So you could have a little, this one was with layers, gradients, pen tool, and you can just kind of write out different things about this. And this has to do with COVID because it's in the news, so I can elaborate a little bit more on that particular piece. So you get the idea of what you can do for the look of your booklet. So on this example that I showed earlier, I actually placed it in black. So this is something that you can do as well. I put a black background on this. And everything kind of stood out fairly well. So a lot of contrast. You want to, of course, use your layers, put that layer in the back. And then your text boxes have to be in white. So this would be one way to kind of add a little contrast to your files. The big thing is to try to keep a theme going within your booklet. and to try to write about what you've learned. So that's a huge component to this booklet, is to really showcase what you can do, what you've done. Internship pieces can go in here as well. So if you have some internship pieces, you may want to include those. And very quickly, you know, we created a booklet. There's also an inside, well, you need a cover, you need an inside back cover, inside front cover, and a back cover for the book or the show if you're including this, you know, to have it covered, that would talk about the date, the reason of the show, the purpose of the show, and I can help you putting that together. So in this piece, this is just a little artist booklet. It's another way just to show you, to show off your talents. So you're going to create a little mini booklet like this. It's really based on the book that you've created for your full portfolio. It's kind of just sized in a smaller format. So it can really showcase your work. I'm going to show you how you can put files in here, even if they're saved as a Photoshop file. This is another way to do this. So this is called Lady in Blue. So if I wanted to include this picture, it would be a demonstration of creating a portrait using different filters and masks. So I also have the snow buffalo. I know you guys created this in class. You can include the PSD file. It doesn't necessarily have to be a JPEG. So this could also go into your examples, because you should have, if you had me as a teacher, this would have been one of the examples. So this is kind of what you have to do. My artist statement is a little bit too big there, so I can go ahead and resize some of this. My name is up here somewhere. And of course you can do, you know, you could take this into Photoshop and do something dramatic to it. But really you just need a little mini book to showcase your work. So here I could say this is an InDesign corporate booklet for the Buffalo Sabres. And then I'll highlight that, place it into Arial, because that would be the font that I chose. We want to make that white. You may want to increase that size for legibility, not too big. And this is this shows your advanced page layout. So these higher ed classes that you're taking, they're probably going to be the classes that you're going to want to focus on in your capabilities. So this just shows your advanced page layout. You really want to have, you really want to show what you were able to do with the techniques and the software programs. So this just gives you an idea of what you can do for your booklet. So each of these booklets, I know I did this here. This was my Photoshop example on the other page. I'm just going to copy paste this here to save a little time, but you get the idea that you want to write about what you did and to give them, the viewer, some ideas. Now, the great thing about this is once you're done with this booklet, you really can just copy and paste this information and put it into your Project 3 portfolio booklet. So you really do want to make sure that you have this booklet taken care of, because it should be a real quick little mini booklet to make based on your classwork. So I hope this helps. I know you're going to email me some questions on this, and this is being recorded, so this will also help you in working on this file. There is also a rubric for grading. Let me open this up. You really want to pay attention to typography because it's an advanced page layout. You want to pay attention to craftsmanship and the whole design process. The final printed project, in this case it'll be how it's sent as a PDF, so we're going to have to go over that. You really want to be in the exceeds expectations, and then you're going to have to explain this to me through online. We're going to want to make sure your voice is clear, you're easy to understand, you're confident about your work. You can highlight the main points in what you designed the project for, and you're going to want to use the correct graphic design terminology. So you're going to want to say that, yes, you applied layers, you applied some different types of typography attempts. You're going to want to maybe do a word wrap and talk about how you can do a word wrap. So text wrapping would be applying this, having this text wrap around this graphic. You know, you're going to want to show people what you can do because this is what they'll be hiring you for. So make sure you do a little research, see what other people have done for these booklets. You cannot design in a box independently on your own. You're going to want to look at videos and tutorials and look at other examples of how people have put together portfolios and booklets. So you'll be seeing videos that I'll be posting online. This will also be posted as this is being recorded. So I hope this helps. You're going to want to look at these visuals and hopefully ask questions. You also have Project 3. Project 3 is your bigger portfolio booklet, so it's actually a larger size than the booklet that we're working on. You're really going to want to make sure that you understand the projects that you have from your different classes. Try to get a lot of different examples, and I know that will help you resolve your overall project and how you want to deliver it. So, you know, this rubric, I'll make sure this gets emailed to you today. You want to pay attention to craftsmanship, typography, your design process, how it's, and how you're going to critique it. So you're a student of 1 at this point, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I hope you learned a little bit of something today. You haven't typed anything, so I don't know where you are or if you have this on or off or if you have it muted, but it looks like you have your microphone muted. So it wouldn't hurt if you checked in, but I'm glad you're at least here for attendance. So if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. We'll go on a 10-minute break here, and then we'll come back and finish this up.